Good Wednesday morning. Ugly night of baseball for the Mets and the Yankees as we get closer to the final month of games, and everything feels like a bigger deal, even though one game is one game is one game. But I don't think either the Mets or Yankees fan base really knows what these teams are going to do when it really matters. I don't know if this Yankee team is going to turn into a juggernaut and be able to hit their way or mash their way through the playoffs and have enough pitching. I don't know if the Mets are going to wake up and look like the offensive team that they did a few months ago or about a month ago when they were winning all those games. I don't know. I don't know what they are. But baseball's a funny game. A smart man told me that once. Baseball's a funny game. You never know what's going to happen. Plenty of that and more on this Wednesday in August the 21st. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning there, Jay. I'm doing great. And I have to say this. Here we are late in August, and both teams, before the game, I mean, you could feel it. You could feel like it has a playoff atmosphere. Both teams have that. Now, Jose Quintana has been a disaster lately, and, all of a sudden the Mets get behind big and try to make a run at it, coming late back into the game. And then you have Soto and Judge going back-to-back early in the game against Cleveland. So the thing that I appreciate about this is that, for one quiet night, I can go back and forth. I can watch both games, and both games actually have meaning to them.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. That's what we say. We always say that in April. Please be relevant in August because these are the dog days. These are the days before the NFL starts, and these are the days where, these games have got to matter. And they obviously both do matter, and you can tell by the way both teams are playing. The interesting thing from the Orioles' perspective, if you take just one, the amount of injuries that they have is ridiculous. And the fact that they're still hanging around and they're still playing, the brand of baseball that they're playing, I mean, this is the time where the Yankees should be passing them.
Well, I mean, think about that. Also, for both the Yankees and the Mets, the team that is the biggest pain in their neck are both dealing with massive injuries this year. The Baltimore Orioles for the Yankees and the Atlanta Braves, who the Mets are chasing, with like many other teams for the final wild card spot. The Atlanta Braves, and they lose Austin Riley. So, I mean, there's been a lot of injuries with both of those teams, and they're hanging around, and you feel like it should be the Yankees looking back at the Orioles with the Yankees being 5 games up, or it should be the Mets that are 3 games up in the final wild card over those teams, but they aren't. Now, still over a month to go, but yeah, I mean, if you think about when these teams, well, some guys are going to be out for the year, but it feels like both the Yankees and Mets should be in a better position than the teams that have suffered all these injuries.
Yeah, and there was a lot going on in the Yankee game last night. It was the longest game in Major League Baseball this year, and it was just going on and on and on and on and on.
Over 4 hours?
Yeah. Listen, this is like a throwback game to 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
But it was intense. And it's got that playoff type atmosphere, and Cleveland's got a really good team. I mean, you talk about a small market team and a team that just seems to every year be competitive. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series, but they're always competitive. They do a great job there. They're in that weak division, so they tend to dominate. I think they tend to, I don't know, I have to look at their record. I would think that they dominate that division. But, when you see them up close and personal, I mean, they're a good, solid team. I mean, They have good players all over the field, and it was last night was a frustrating one for the Yankees. I mean, you could say the same thing for Cleveland because they had men in scoring position the whole damn night. But I don't know, like just the intensity of both games, you could feel it, and because it means a lot to all 4 teams that are playing right now with about 5.5 weeks to go in the season.
I mean, isn't it amazing that we have 5.5 weeks to go in the season? We've seen the hundreds and hundreds of baseball games throughout 2024 at this point. And, I mean, I have a better handle on who I think the Mets are. And they're a team that I don't think will make the playoffs. But if they did, I wouldn't be totally shocked. And they'd probably have an early exit if it did happen.
You've been against that since the season started.
Right. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But, I mean, if it happened, I wouldn't be like, oh, my God, this is the craziest thing that ever happened in the history of the game. But I still don't think they're going to end up making it.
What would be crazy if they made it to the NLCS?
That would be, yes, so the World Series. That would be nuts. But with the Yankees, I still, after watching this team, dissecting this team, taking the calls, going through the entire summer and spring and everything, if they got knocked out immediately in the postseason or they won the World Series, neither one of those things would surprise me. I don't know who they are or what they are or how they're going to play in the biggest moments. I have no clue. And I don't even think the fan base has any idea. Like, if the playoffs started tomorrow, I'd be just as surprised if they won the World, or just as, I guess, not surprised if they won the World Series as if they got swept.
I mean, I think of the great Denny Green coaching for the Arizona Cardinals, playing against the Chicago Bears on a Monday night.
Yeah.
And we cannot attribute that statement from the great Denny Green towards any of these teams around here because we don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are.
We have no idea who they are.
Right.
But I'd like to think that I have been steadfast in my support of the fans out there, their beloved New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
I have tried to support them. I've tried to say that they are making to the World Series. I haven't tried to say it. I've actually said it, that they will make the World Series. And I am not backing off of that just because of one lousy 12-inning loss. No. I'm not saying. I kind of know who they are. I think with Soto and Judge in there, I know who they are. I mean, this is a team that's built for October. That's all I'm going to tell you. They're built for October.
Are they?
They are.
With that bullpen? And a closer who is, I mean, he was good last night.
He was good last night. He was fine last night.
He was, but still shaky.
Hey, listen, we may have to, they may have to ask him to close maybe about 4 games.
Here we go.
Do 4 games. That's all.
Man, usually this happens more like September 21st, not August 21st, where the they turns into we with the New York Yankees.
Well, I mean, we are New Yorkers.
Yeah. I mean, of course, yeah, right.
And there was a tinge of that during COVID when the Islanders went to the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
There was a tinge, a tinge.
Right.
I mean, I was interested.
Of course
you were interested.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Al was even interested.
No, he wasn't.
Eddie was interested. Al was interested.
He was not interested in the New York Islanders.
Al, were you interested in the Islanders?
Who did they lose to? Here we go. Who did they lose to?
It doesn't matter who
Hurricanes.
they lost. No, close though. Close.
No, not
very
close.
Yes, it is close.
How is it close? It's a completely different city, state, team.
But they're in the same
not
division.
close.
But they're in the same division.
So
No, they're
what?
actually in a different division. Al.
I will say when the Rangers are in it, I'm interested.
Yeah, but this was COVID bubble stuff, man.
He doesn't remember.
You were so into. We talked about it because you love Matty Martz.
Big Matty Martz.
Yeah, you're a big Matty Martz fan.
You got hey. As BT would say, take the L on this
I'm
one.
not taking the L on this.
Al did not care about the COVID Islanders. Stop. He didn't.
They kind of represented New York. They kind of did. Not kind of. They did.
It's a weird memory you have of
but
this time.
There was nothing else going on.
Yeah, I know.
Like Kyrie Irving quit on the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we argued about that a little bit. Kevin
did.
Durant wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on with the Mets and the Yankees.
Right.
Really?
Right.
I mean, at that time, it was all Islanders all the time. I mean, that's what I felt like.
All right, so why are we talking about this again?
Just talking about the Yankees making it to the World Series and representing New York.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, representing New York. Well, I will say that we do need another championship team in this city. It has been a long
You might get one with the
time.
Liberty this year.
Oh, we're going to get one with the Liberty. Yeah, they're smoking everybody. But it doesn't seem like people are paying too much attention to it.
They won last night, the Liberty?
Yeah, they killed what did they play? The Sparks, I think?
No, the Sun played the Sparks in Boston Garden, by the way.
Oh.
19,000.
Ooh.
Wow. And either one, I don't know, is anybody on those teams that we would know? The Sparks, like I know at least a handful of
You're talking about the Liberty.
No. We're talking about the Sun and the Sparks that moved to Boston Garden.
Their number one draft pick, Cameron Brink.
She's
from
hurt.
Stanford. Yes, she's
hurt.
out. So
I know
am
her.
not familiar.
Look at you guys talking WNBA like
That's
you know
right.
the inner workings
Well,
of it.
I'm
And you're
curious.
you guys right now are in the weeds of the WNBA.
Not really. I said,
Yeah,
is there
you are.
anybody on these teams that I would know? I don't know if that's in the weeds per se.
Well, Eddie's in the weeds.
But I don't know it. The reason I'm asking is that we've seen Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the Vegas
Stewart,
team that have been Sabrina
Asia
Ionescu.
Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu.
Right.
Yes,
We've seen those players really lift the league and get sellouts. I don't know if
Well, really,
any of
Caitlin Clark has lifted the league.
of course, her. I
Yeah,
mean, she's
of
the number
course.
one. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I think I said her first, I would think.
I think you did. But I mean, she's really the one.
But do the Sun and the Sparks have any of those players on there? I don't think so.
The Sun have I think their best player is Bonner, I believe her name is.
That's in the
Weeds.
That's
Weeds.
in the weeds.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
man.
he's in the
Eddie
weeds
is in
now.
the weeds.
Definitely in the weeds.
But they just said they felt the demand, and this was not an Caitlin Clark game, and
That was nice.
They
Wow.
moved it today, and they sold it out.
That's pretty good. That's impressive. That's very impressive. So, yeah, if it's not the Liberty, it's got to be the Yankees. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And if it's not the Liberty and it's not the Yankees, then it's got to be the Jets.
The Jets.
And then if it's not the Liberty, it's not the Yankees, and it's not the Jets, then it's got to be the Knicks. And then we start all over again. Right?
Yes.
And then on and on and on and on and on. I will say, though, I feel like in the last 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years, this time in New York sports, there are more teams that you could project actually winning a championship than there has been in about 6 or 7 years. Yankees, if you want to throw the Liberty in there, you can.
You got to throw the Liberty in
Jets.
there. I mean, they're playing sports.
Jets and Knicks.
Right.
I mean, all those teams are legitimate contenders.
I want to make sure that I'm accurate. The Liberty crushed the Dallas Wings.
Oh, the Wings. Well,
Yeah.
The Wings stink, right?
Yeah, they're
like the worst team in the league.
They're 6-20. Look at that. Jeez. So are you sneaking WNBA like highlights in your
Yeah.
office?
Like Mike Francesa used to sneak the M&Ms, used to put them in his back pocket and pretend that they weren't there, and he'd like sneak them and eat them in the newsroom. That's sort of what I'm doing with the WNBA. I'm like
He would
sneaking.
put M&Ms in his back pocket. Who
Yeah.
puts M&Ms in their back pocket?
They were in the package.
Oh, okay.
And he would get him out of the vending machine, and then he'd keep it in his hand so you couldn't see what he was doing. He'd like put it in his hand, quick to his mouth, and he put the rest in his back pocket.
What's wrong with eating M&Ms?
Well, he just didn't. It was probably like just like that video of him when they came back early on Yes, and he was eating that giant ice cream, and then he like took a piece of paper and put it in front of it because he didn't want people seeing him eat ice cream.
I mean, we eat stuff all the time. You know?
I know, but
Yeah.
he's obviously was, self-conscious about that.
Oh, I
So
see. Okay.
That's what was going on. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. You know what it is I come in and sit down, put the TV on, and because the WNBA's got some
Juice.
they put the highlights everywhere. So then I end up consuming it unintentionally. Just shows you that the media is in control of our minds.
Yes. Yes, they are.
I'm not seeking this out.
It's
sought
right in
me
your
out.
face. It's right. It's right in your face.
And now I know the record of the Dallas Wings. Because of this, they told me it's important. They told me to pay attention to the WNBA. They told me to pay attention to the DNC. They told me to look into this rogue water spout off the coast of Sicily. They told me. No, sorry, I don't know.
All right.
But that's how it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not like I'm seeking it out. It just
I
ends
know,
up being there in your
right-
face.
It's right there in your face.
It's in there in your face.
It's in your face, 100% in your face.
Yeah. So, all right. So you think that at this point, if I'm getting this take right from you this morning, at this point, you would like all New Yorkers to throw their support behind the New York Yankees so we can be on the same page with something? Is that what you're saying?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I'm just saying right now, like I'm holding true to what I have been saying all year long, that the Yankees are built for the World Series.
You really believe that?
Oh, yeah?
Okay. I mean,
Have you I don't know if
they got two of the best hitters we've
listen,
ever seen.
I don't know if, yes, see, now I know that you now noticed because you just said it. Because they have two of the best hitters back-to-back in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't acquire Juan Soto to flame out.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? You acquire a guy of that stature to throw all in.
You
Not
go all in.
flame out, you're all in.
Well, you got Luis Heel, who's on an innings limit to begin with, now leaving a game because of lower back stiffness.
I
not
almost
a good thing.
took today off because of tightness.
You did?
I was going to call in to Al and say, hey, Al, I'm taking the day off because I got tightness.
General soreness?
There's a lot of tightness going on around sports these days. I've seen it, in the NFL. Like Devontae Adams had tightness.
Tightness. My favorite is general soreness, though.
Alvin Kamara had tightness.
He had tightness, too?
And now we got all sorts of tightness happening all over the place.
Yeah.
I literally thought about it at 4:15 this morning. Just call Al up. Al, I'm a little tight. I don't think I can make it. But I figure since I'm just sitting down for 4 hours,
Yeah,
I
it'd be all
I
right.
can somehow get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday let me see how many steps I had yesterday. It might be under 1,000.
You know what? It was cold yesterday morning.
Yesterday, I might have had under 1,000 steps yesterday. I did not move at all. Like, I didn't. Let's see. All right, so days, 2,242. That is horrendous. That is
What's
really
a
bad.
normal day for you? When
8,000.
when you're shuffling from here to your office.
8,000.
then
Usually a
shuffling
normal
down
day
to
for
your-
me is 8,000 steps. That's my average.
And if you have a round of golf, well, you're usually in a cart. You don't walk.
Come on, let's get.
That's
in that
where you
cart.
need to walk.
Yeah, I don't want to. I just like riding around in the thing. Actually, I think I'm walking tomorrow. Believe it or not.
All right,
Not
well,
my
that's good.
choice, but I'm walking. So yeah, but 2,000 steps is. I did nothing because I was. It was a long day out there in Jersey, man.
It
Jersey
was,
sucks the
no.
life out of me. You know
It
what
does.
I'm saying?
It does, especially coming back through that traffic. And even
Yeah.
if August is light traffic, it's still traffic.
I mean, I felt like I was away from home longer in 24 hours in New Jersey than 8 days in Italy. Like when I got back home after 24 hours in Jersey, I was like, wow, jeez.
Did they throw a welcome home party
Yeah,
for you?
there's balloons and everything. It was great. Cake was awesome.
I mean, you went from southern Jersey to central Jersey. And then back to New York. It's brutal.
Rough, man. I don't know how I'm here today. I should have been taken off.
Back tightness.
Back tightness and exhaustion. He's out today due to New Jersey.